You know, all the good leaders, the ones that I've seen, typically what they do is they're not trying to take credit. They're constantly giving it out. The other is that you really need to build trust and camaraderie. I always felt strongly, your word has to be good no matter what. Knowing that they can trust you and you can trust them is critical to being able to lead a big board.
One of the things that was important to me was that I tried to use knowledge. I was one of those people who, when I got the packet, I would sit down and read it right away. I actually read every line in the county budget, both the expenses and the revenues. I also listened very carefully to my fellow supervisors, and I sort of knew where they were going, sometimes even before they got there. So I was able to help fashion creative solutions to some of the problems, knowing what would be acceptable. We had some issues dealing with the jail, and so Wally and I took one Friday night and we went up and watched jail for like 4 hours. We saw the intake process, we saw what they were doing in dispatch and all kinds of things. And from that, when issues got back to the board, we were able to speak directly about experience rather than just symbolic kinds of things. So that kind of do your homework approach was an important part of leadership. Be prepared for a lot of hard work. There's a little bit of glamour, but not much. And if you really want to represent your constituents, you have to sort of find ways to be in touch with them. If you're not prepared to do that, if you just want to stand up and give speeches, you really ought to find someplace else to stand up and give speeches. You get out of something like that experience what you bring into it and what you invest in it. And so if you want it to be a good experience for you, that's what you have to do.
I very much believe that leadership is about engaging with your constituency and hearing the voices of the people that you represent. So I worked very hard when I was a county board supervisor to be in my district and be available to my constituents authentically. I believe strongly that elected officials are here to serve the people who have voted them in, who have sent them into the position that they are serving, and that it's really important to maintain a trusting and open relationship. That's how it is that we can actually get things done. When the voters, when the constituents can actually reach out to the person who is in that position, and when the elected official actually reaches back into the community and listens authentically to what it is that's being said to them. It's really important to me.
For me, you set a tone. You know, how you treat people, how you respond to their questions, how much time you give them to talk, and you listen, and again, that collaboration. You set the tone that we're here to work together. Obviously, we're going to have some differences and some conflicts, but how can we work those out? I have, when I was on active duty, I have been the featured speaker at leadership training, leadership education, being in front of the classroom. And one time I had a person that was in the classroom say, "Oh, you have it easy, you're in the military, you can just order people what to do." That is a great misconception, a myth, whatever you want to call it. For successful leadership in the military, just like anything else, anywhere else, you develop your team. It's the day-to-day, I'll say the respect, the integrity, the trustworthiness, you're collaborating, you develop those relationships where when you actually do have a crisis where you as a leader have to say you need to do this now, your team's going to be there because they know that they can depend on you. And if you are saying this is a crisis, it's truly a crisis and we need to act now because you've developed and trained and collaborated leading up to any type of stressful situation. Whatever committees that you're assigned to, again, be prepared for those meetings, know what the topics are, be ready for when the public comes to ask questions or express their concerns. You need to know the facts.
Whether I'm looking at just the members of the board and trying to figure out where to go in terms of leading that group of 37 of us, or leading the community, being a leader in the community at large, it's important to reach out and communicate with people who are impacted by your leadership, and to get an understanding of, when I make this decision, what are the impacts? And I may not know, I don't have all the answers. And I think that's maybe, I think I lead with confidence, but I also lead understanding that I don't have all the answers, and I need to seek information before I make decisions. And I've tried to do that. I've tried to be collaborative in my leadership, and I think it's part of what I've seen on the board as I've served as chair is a collaborative board that works together to find solutions. Much of the time, we're all seeking a better county, and I've tried to figure out ways that people can collaborate to get to that goal.
When I got elected, I knew from my district the committee that made most sense for me was Human Services. That's what South Madison needed. So I said, I'll make sure we get funding into the community. I'll make sure the moms are struggling to pay rent. They're struggling to get food in the house. I'm going to be on the most impactful committee, which was over 50% of the county board budget. So that was like the big bang for your buck. I got the assignment, which was awesome. So I've had multiple tiers, from being a sergeant of arms to being the chair of health and human needs to navigating the first and second vice chair of county board to chair of UW. So I've had this jigsaw kind of move. But I think what people realize is I'm a team player. I'm a team leader. But at the end of the day, I need results, and they have to be measurable, and it has to be right for a community, and I have to build this relationship. So community engagement was critical. I can say because I've had good mentors, because I've had people be very honest with me. But what I can say that I didn't have an African American woman trailblaze what I've done. And so I know I'm in a very unique position to reach back and help others. So I had all these different voices helping me, but they never knew what it was like to be a Black woman knocking on doors. None of them were. Even now I come to county board, I'm the only African American on the board. But I take this opportunity to be a voice for everyone. So people see that, but at the end of the day, they see Sheila Stubbs as a partner.